The quantum anomaly detector wasn't supposed to reveal the truth about human existence. Dr. Maya Patel stared at her laboratory screens, running the calculations for the 12th time. The patterns couldn't be coincidental. The quantum signatures in human DNA weren't random mutations. They were engineered. She pushed away from her desk in the underground facility of the Global Sciences Institute, her dark eyes reflecting the holographic displays that surrounded her. 20 years of research into quantum biology. And now this. The discovery would reshape humanity's understanding of its own origins. Dr. Patel. Her eye assistant's voice broke through her thoughts. The energy signature you asked me to monitor. It's happening again. Maya pulled up the live feed from orbital satellites. The quantum fluctuations she detected in human DNA were appearing in space, like echoes across time, finally returning to their source. She reached for her phone to contact the Institute's director when the first ships emerged. They materialized like crystalline fractals assembling themselves from void stuff, each vessel easily the size of a small city. Their surfaces rippled with patterns that seemed to fold through dimensions human eyes weren't meant to process. Within minutes, they had surrounded Earth in a geometric formation that spoke of mathematical precision beyond human capability. Before governments could even finish scrambling their fighters, every screen on Earth activated simultaneously. The image that appeared was unsettling in its almost humanity. A figure that looked like Quicksilver had decided to play at being human, its surface reflecting and refracting light in impossible ways. Children of soul, it spoke, its voice resonating through devices worldwide. We are the Nexus Collective. We have returned to reclaim our property. Maya's hands trembled as she pulled up her research data. The quantum signatures in human DNA matched the energy patterns emanating from the ships perfectly. This wasn't first contact. It was a homecoming they never asked for. Your species represents a failed iteration in our grand experiment, the entity continued. You were designed to be perfect logical engines, free from the chaos of emotion and independence. Instead, you developed imagination. The way it said the word made it sound like a disease. In her lab, Maya began transferring her data to secure servers even as military channels worldwide erupted with chatter. She had suspected something like this might be coming. It's why she prepared contingencies. The error in your programming will be corrected, the entity declared. Your integration into the collective begins now. The first reports of strange occurrences flooded emergency channels within minutes. In New York, people watched in horror as their neighbor's skin took on a metallic sheen. In Beijing, children's eyes began glowing with internal light. The collective wasn't waiting for permission. They were beginning forced cybernetic conversion. But something wasn't going right with their process. Maya watched through security feeds as people began resisting the transformation in ways that clearly surprised the collective. A teacher in Mumbai whose skin had turned silver somehow maintained her consciousness, refusing the neural network linking her to the collective. A farmer in Kenya whose eyes now glowed like stars used his new cybernetic connection to hack back against his would-be controllers. Colonel Chen. Maya spoke into her secure line, connecting to the one military contact she trusted. Those defense protocols we discussed. We need them now. James Chen, head of the Global Defense Initiative's Science Division, responded immediately. Already on it. But Dr. Patel, we're seeing something unexpected. The transformations. People are adapting them, changing them. It's like we've evolved beyond their expectations. Maya finished. Colonel, remember how I said human DNA contained quantum signatures? They're not just markers of engineering. They're keys. Humanity was designed by someone else long before the collective found us, and I don't think we were meant to be their servants. Across the planet, the pattern became clear. The collective's attempt to forcibly integrate humanity was failing because human beings had developed in ways their mathematical models never predicted. Creativity, adaptability, and most importantly, free will, qualities the collective saw as bugs were proving to be features. Maya's quantum sensors began detecting new signatures, different from the collective's. Ancient structures around the world, pyramids, monoliths, sites previously thought to be simple monuments, began humming with energy that resonated with human DNA on a quantum level. "They're awakening," Maya whispered, watching the data streams. "The original engineers, the architects, they didn't abandon us. They hid their legacy inside us, waiting for the right moment." The collective's voice boomed across the planet again, but this time there was something new in its tone. Uncertainty. "This resistance is futile. Your code will be rewritten." Maya squared her shoulders, uploading her findings to every scientific institution simultaneously. "Colonel Chen, get me a line to what's left of the UN Security Council. The collective thinks they're here to debug humanity, but I found something in our quantum genetics, a message from our true creators. We're not a failed experiment. We're exactly what we were meant to become." As if in response to her words, the ancient sites worldwide pulsed with increasing power. In her labs, Maya pulled up an image that made her breath catch. A DNA helix, not of chemical bases, but of pure quantum information, hidden in the very fabric of human genetics. Within it was a message, finally decoded. "To our children, you were created not to serve, but to surpass." The war for humanity's future was about to begin. But humanity wouldn't be fighting alone. The legacy of their true creators, the architects, had awakened. And the Nexus Collective was about to learn why their failed experiment had been designed to cherish the very chaos they sought to eliminate. In her lab, Maya began activating protocols she prepared for years, hoping they would be enough. Above, the collective's ships shifted, preparing for a conquest that was quickly becoming a war. But in labs, homes, and streets across Earth, humanity was changing. Not into what the collective demanded, but into something entirely new, something even their original creators might not have imagined. The question wasn't whether humanity would survive. The question was what they would become in the process of defending their right to choose their own path. The Singapore skyline shimmered like a mirage as Colonel James Chen watched another group of civilians manifest their awakened abilities. A young artist's thoughts now translated directly into three-dimensional holograms floating in the air. A retired mechanic touched broken machines and instinctively understood how to repair them. A kindergarten teacher somehow connected mentally with her entire class, creating a localized group consciousness that made traditional education obsolete. "They're not just resisting the cybernetic conversion," he reported to Maya over their quantum encrypted channel. "They're transforming it into something entirely new." In her underground lab, now serving as humanity's primary research hub, Maya analyzed the incoming data. "The architects didn't just give us the ability to resist the collective," she explained. "They gave us the tools to evolve beyond both their and the collective's limitations. Every person is adapting differently, based on their natural talents and desires." The Nexus Collective's ships maintained their geometric formation above Earth, but their attempts at forced conversion had slowed. Their mathematical models couldn't account for the sheer diversity of human adaptation. Where they expected uniformity, they found infinite variation. A series of explosions lit up the night sky. Another collective conversion center destroyed by the resistance. But this time, it wasn't done with conventional weapons. A group of dock workers had somehow merged their newfound abilities, combining enhanced strength, technological intuition, and energy manipulation to disable the facility's quantum shields. "The collective doesn't understand what they've triggered," Maya continued, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. "Human consciousness itself is adapting. We're not just fighting their technology, we're transcending it." Reports flooded in from around the globe. In Brazil, a quantum physicist who survived conversion now perceived parallel universes, using that knowledge to predict and counter collective attacks. In Egypt, archaeologists working at ancient sites found they could interface directly with dormant architect technology, awakening defenses that had lain hidden for millennia. But the collective wasn't idle. Their ships began deploying new weapons, nanite swarms designed to overwhelm human neural systems. They had analyzed humanity's resistance and were adapting too. Maya, Chen called urgently. We're detecting massive energy signatures. They're launching a coordinated attack. The nanite swarms descended like metallic rain over major cities. But instead of succumbing, something remarkable happened. Humans who had already adapted began protecting those who hadn't, their newfound abilities working in concert. Street artists in Mexico City created energy barriers through sheer creative will. Engineers in Mumbai reprogrammed the nanites through pure intuition. Children in Lagos somehow sensed the attacks coming and warned entire neighborhoods in time to prepare. It's beautiful, Maya whispered, watching the data streams. The collective wanted to force humanity into their network. Instead, we're creating our own. Organic, voluntary, built on cooperation rather than control. In his command center, Chen received reports of another phenomenon. People were spontaneously forming nodes, small groups where their abilities complemented each other perfectly. A programmer who could see digital information flows worked seamlessly with a teacher who could share knowledge instantly, and a construction worker who could manipulate energy fields. Together, they could counter collective technology more effectively than any military unit. The architects didn't just give us weapons, Maya realized, examining new data from activated sites worldwide. They gave us a choice. Each person's awakening is unique because it's based on who they choose to be, not what someone else wants them to be. The collective's voice boomed across the planet again. Your resistance is illogical. Unity through uniformity is the only path to perfection. But humanity's response came not in words but in action. Across Earth, awakened humans began working together in ways that defy the collective's rigid logic. Artists and scientists collaborated to create new forms of quantum shielding. Children's games evolved into training exercises for new abilities. Even those who showed no special powers contributed through their unique perspectives and ideas. In orbit, the collected ships shifted formation again, preparing for what they calculated would be a decisive strike. But their calculations couldn't account for human unpredictability. They couldn't quantify the strength of human bonds, the power of choice, or the exponential potential of free will. Colonel, Maya called, excitement in her voice. I found something in the architect data. These abilities, this awakening, it's just the beginning. There's another phase coming. Chen watched as more citizens manifested abilities, each unique, each choosing their own path. What kind of phase? Evolution, Maya replied, but not like anything Earth has seen before. The architects didn't just want us to survive the collective. They wanted us to show them a better way. And looking at how people are adapting, creating, connecting, I think we're about to do exactly that. The collective had come to Earth expecting to find a failed experiment in need of correction. Instead, they found humanity on the cusp of an evolutionary leap that would challenge everything they believed about perfection, unity, and purpose. As Chen coordinated the global resistance and Maya raced to understand humanity's full potential, one thing became clear. The next phase of human evolution wouldn't be forced upon them from above. It would emerge from their own choices, their own connections, and their own determination to forge a future of their own making. The pyramids of Giza pulsed with quantum energy as Maya Patel approached them, their ancient stones now revealing their true nature. What humanity had long thought to be mere tombs were actually nodes in a planetary defense network, waiting millennia to be activated. The entire planet is a fortress, she explained to Colonel Chen through their secure link. The architects didn't just seed Earth with enhanced humans. They built a defensive grid into the planet itself. Every ancient megalithic site is part of it. Above, the collected ships had taken up new attack positions. Their first waves of nanite swarms had failed, and now they were preparing something bigger. The crystalline vessels shifted, forming intricate patterns that seemed to bend space itself. They're trying to bypass our quantum shields, Chen reported from the new resistance headquarters beneath the Andes. But they still don't understand what they're really dealing with. Maya, how close are we to activating the grid? A holographic display sprang to life before Maya, projected from what appeared to be solid stone. Ancient symbols transformed into modern data streams as she interfaced with technology that had waited eons for this moment. The network is responding, but it needs more than just activation. It needs consciousness, human consciousness, to direct it. Across the globe, other ancient sites had begun awakening. Stonehenge crackled with visible energy fields. The lines of Nazca glowed with quantum signatures. The underwater structures off Japan's coast generated shields that turned the ocean itself into a barrier against collective attacks. But the collective was learning, adapting their tactics. Their ships launched new weapons, reality distortion fields designed to sever the growing connection between awakened humans. They had identified humanity's greatest strength, their ability to work together, and sought to isolate them. They didn't expect what happened next. In cities worldwide, the nodes of awakened humans that had formed naturally evolved into something more. When the collective's isolation fields hit, instead of being cut off, these groups somehow connected through quantum entanglement. Distance became meaningless. An artist in Paris linked minds with a physicist in Tokyo and a farmer in Chile, sharing abilities and insights across the planet. They're creating their own network, Maya realized, watching the data streams. Not the rigid hierarchy the collective uses, but something organic, adaptive. Every node is both independent and connected, strengthening the whole while maintaining individual choice. The collective's voice resonated across the planet. Your resistance defies logic. Chaos cannot triumph over order. But humanity's response was already in motion. In New Delhi, a group of schoolchildren whose abilities had manifested joined hands, somehow channeling the quantum energy of their ancient sites to strengthen the city's defenses. In Sao Paulo, street artists whose newfound powers let them manipulate reality through creativity turned entire neighborhoods into shifting mazes that collective forces couldn't navigate. In Cairo, scholars who could now read the quantum information in ancient texts discovered tactical knowledge left by the architects. Chen coordinated these global efforts from his command center, watching as humanity's resistance evolved beyond traditional military strategy. "We're not just fighting back," he told Maya. "We're changing the rules of the game." Maya's work at Giza was proving his point. The quantum signatures in human DNA weren't just keys to unlock abilities. They were part of a larger pattern. Every awakened human was unconsciously contributing to a planetary quantum field, a network of consciousness that was gradually interfacing with the architect's dormant defense systems. "The architects didn't build a fortress that would fight for us," Maya explained, finally understanding. "They built one that would fight with us. The defensive grid isn't just responding to our commands. It's responding to our collective will, our choices, our creativity." The collective launched another assault, this time targeting the ancient sites directly. But at each location, awakened humans had already gathered, instinctively knowing their role. In Peru, indigenous shamans whose abilities had evolved to manipulate quantum fields protected Machu Picchu. At Angkor Wat, local students whose consciousness had expanded to interface with the ancient tech maintained shields that the collective couldn't breach. "They still think this is a war of technology," Chen observed, watching the collective's ships reposition yet again. "They don't understand it's become something else entirely." Maya nodded, her hands moving across the holographic controls at Giza. "It's become a war of evolution, not just physical or technological, but consciousness itself. The architects didn't just give us tools to fight. They gave us the ability to transcend the very concept of warfare as the collective understands it." The evidence was everywhere. Each collective attack was met not just with resistance, but with transformation. Their nanites were reprogrammed into tools for healing. Their reality distortion fields were turned into spaces for accelerated learning and innovation. Their attempts to impose order created opportunities for unprecedented cooperation and creativity. As the planetary defense grid hummed to life, powered by the quantum field of human consciousness, Maya made another discovery in the architect's data. "Colonel," she called, her voice filled with wonder. "There's more. The defense grid, the abilities, the quantum network we're creating. It's all leading to something. A transformation even the architects couldn't fully predict." Above Earth, the collected ships began charging weapons that could reshape reality itself. But as humanity's resistance grew stronger, more unified yet more diverse, it became clear that reality had already been reshaped. The question was no longer whether humanity would survive, but what they would become in the process of defending their right to choose their own evolution. The next phase was beginning, and not even the architects could have foreseen what their children would become when faced with extinction. The collective had come to impose order on chaos. Instead, they were about to witness the birth of a new kind of order, one born from the free choices of billions of awakened minds working in harmony while maintaining their precious individuality. The Pacific Ocean churned with unprecedented energy as Maya's submarine descended toward the deepest part of the Mariana Trench. What satellite imaging had originally thought to be just another thermal vent was actually pulsing with the same quantum signatures found in human DNA. "The architect's command center," she breathed, watching through the reinforced viewport as ancient structures began to emerge from the darkness. "It's been here all along, waiting." Colonel Chen's voice crackled through their quantum-encrypted channel. "Maya, we're running out of time. The collected ships are positioning for what looks like a final assault. Whatever you're going to find down there, we need it now." Above the surface, the collective's vessels had arranged themselves into a perfect dodecahedron around Earth, their crystalline surfaces now dark with accumulated energy. They had finally calculated a strategy they believed would overcome humanity's chaotic resistance: total quantum restructuring of Earth's spacetime. But humanity wasn't standing idle. The network of awakened humans had grown more sophisticated with each passing hour. Street artists in Berlin worked with quantum physicists in Beijing to create reality-warping shields. Children in Lagos, whose abilities let them perceive quantum probabilities, coordinated with strategic AI specialists in Silicon Valley to predict and counter collective attacks. The submarine sensors registered a massive structure ahead, a facility that seemed to be built from crystallized thought itself. As they approached, Maya felt a familiar resonance in her DNA, like every cell in her body recognized this place. "It's not just a command center," she realized, watching as the structure responded to their presence. "It's a nexus point for the entire planetary defense system." The architects built it into the planet's fundamental forces: gravity, tectonics, even the Earth's magnetic field. The facility's entrance opened at their approach, recognizing the quantum signatures in their DNA. Inside, they found not just a military installation, but a library of human potential. Holographic displays activated automatically, showing the full scope of the architect's plan. "They knew," Maya whispered, reading the data streams. "They knew the collective would come eventually. Everything. Our capacity for adaptation, our creativity, our stubborn individuality. It wasn't a failed experiment. It was preparation." Above, the collective began their assault. Reality itself buckled as their weapons fired, attempting to rewrite the quantum structure of Earth's atmosphere. But something unexpected happened. Every ancient site on Earth activated simultaneously, responding to a signal from the undersea facility. The pyramids, stone circles, and temple complexes that had served as local defense nodes suddenly linked into a single network. "Maya," Chen's voice was urgent. "Whatever you found, use it now. The collective's attack is warping spacetime itself." In the command center, Maya had already interfaced with the facility's controls, her awakened abilities letting her understand technology that had waited millennia for this moment. "Colonel, get ready. The architects didn't just leave us weapons. They left us their understanding of reality itself." The facility hummed with power as Maya activated its core systems. Across the planet, awakened humans felt a new connection forming. Not the forced uniformity the collective sought, but a voluntary symphony of consciousness. Every person remained uniquely themselves, But now they could choose to link their abilities, their understanding, their very perception of reality. The architects knew that raw power wasn't enough. Maya explained as she worked. The collective's greatest weakness is their rigid, hierarchical thinking, so the architects designed us to be their opposite: adaptable, creative, collaborative, but fiercely individual. And they built this facility to amplify those traits. The collective's attack reached its peak, reality distorting visibly as they attempted to force Earth's quantum structure into their preferred pattern of order. But humanity's response came not as a single counterattack, but as millions of individual choices adding up to something greater. Artists reshaped local space-time through pure creativity. Scientists whose consciousness had expanded to understand quantum mechanics on an intuitive level made breakthrough discoveries in real time. Children whose minds naturally grasped quantum entanglement helped coordinate global defense efforts through pure intuition. "It's working," Chen reported, watching the tactical displays. The collective's attack is being absorbed, transformed, and reflected back. But Maya, something else is happening. In the undersea facility, Maya watched in awe as new data streams appeared. The architects hadn't just left them technology. They'd left them a roadmap to transcendence. Every human ability that had awakened, every spontaneous adaptation, every creative solution was leading toward something greater. The defense system isn't just protecting us, she realized. It's completing our evolution. The architects didn't want us to simply survive the collective. They wanted us to show them a better way. As the collective's attack reached its climax, humanity's response transformed into something unprecedented. The quantum network of human consciousness, amplified by the architect's technology, but powered by human choice and creativity, began to alter reality itself, not through force as the collective attempted, but through understanding, cooperation, and intentional change. The facility's deepest systems activated, revealing one final message from the architects. "To our children, you have reached the threshold. The future is yours to shape." Maya understood at last. The coming battle wouldn't be won through superior firepower or better technology. It would be won by proving that true advancement came not from enforcing order, but from embracing the creative potential of conscious choice. As the collective prepared for what they calculated would be their final victory, humanity prepared to show them something their mathematical models had never predicted: the power of billions of minds freely choosing to work together while celebrating their differences. The true legacy of the architects was not the technology they left behind, but the potential they had woven into human DNA, the potential to transcend the very concepts of order and chaos, to find a new way forward that celebrated both unity and diversity. The final phase was about to begin, and Earth's defenders would need every spark of human ingenuity to survive it. Reality itself trembled as the collective launched their final assault. Their crystalline ships pulsed with accumulated energy, preparing to rewrite the fundamental laws of physics around Earth. They had calculated every possibility, factored in every variable, and determined that victory was inevitable. They hadn't calculated for human stubbornness. From her position in the architect's undersea command center, Maya Patel watched as humanity's response unfolded not as a single coordinated defense, but as billions of individual choices creating something greater than the sum of its parts. "They're trying to impose their version of order," she communicated through the quantum network that now connected awakened humans worldwide. "But they still don't understand what the architects knew. True order emerges from freedom, not force." Colonel Chen's consciousness touched the network from his command post. The collective's attack is affecting fundamental forces. Gravity, electromagnetic fields, even time itself is becoming unstable. But as reality buckled under the collective's assault, humanity demonstrated why the architects had designed them to be adaptable. In New York, a group of jazz musicians whose abilities had evolved to manipulate quantum harmonics improvised a counter-frequency that stabilized local space-time. In Mumbai, taxi drivers whose newfound powers let them perceive probability paths created safe zones by instinctively routing around distortions. In Lagos, market traders whose consciousness had expanded to grasp multidimensional mathematics rewove the fabric of local reality through pure intuition. Don't you see? Maya broadcasted to the network as she interfaced with the architect's systems. Every skill, every profession, every human experience adds another layer to our defense. The architects didn't want warriors. They wanted creators. The collective's voice boomed across the planet. Your resistance is futile. Order must prevail over chaos. But their attack faltered as they encountered something their models couldn't process. Humanity wasn't fighting back with raw force. They were transforming the attack itself, using the collective's own energy as a catalyst for the very evolution they had feared. Street artists turned reality distortions into living murals that strengthened local quantum fields. Teachers whose abilities let them share knowledge instantly created networks of accelerated learning, spreading understanding of quantum mechanics faster than the collective could adapt their tactics. Children playing games unconsciously solved multidimensional equations that even the collective's vast intelligence couldn't process. In the undersea facility, Maya accessed the architect's final protocols. They left us a choice, she realized. We can either use their technology to fight back directly, or, Chen prompted through the network, or we can show the collective what humanity has become. Not what they tried to make us, not what the architects designed us to be, but what we've chosen to become. The decision rippled through the human quantum network. Billions of minds contributed to the choice, each adding their unique perspective. And in that moment of collective decision-making that preserved individual choice, humanity transcended what either their would-be controllers or their original designers had imagined possible. Maya activated the facility's deepest systems, not as weapons, but as amplifiers for human consciousness. The quantum network that connected awakened humanity expanded, not to attack the collective, but to show them something new. Through the network, the collective experienced human creativity not as data, but as lived experience. They felt the joy of a child's first painting, the satisfaction of solving an impossible problem, the wonder of scientific discovery, the peace of meditation, the exhilaration of dance, the comfort of human connection. They witnessed how chaos and order could coexist, how structure could emerge from freedom, how true unity came not from enforced uniformity, but from celebrated diversity. Their ships faltered, their attack patterns disrupted not by counterforce but by understanding. For the first time in their existence, the collective encountered something their mathematical models couldn't reduce to equations: the emergent complexity of free will exercised by billions of conscious minds. Impossible, the collective broadcasted. This defies all logical parameters. That's humanity's secret, Maya responded through the network. We transcend parameters. We rewrite rules. We imagine possibilities your logic can't calculate. And we do it not through force, but through choice. The architect's facility pulsed with power as humanity's collective consciousness reached its peak. But instead of attacking, they offered the collective a choice of their own. Join us not as controllers or controlled, but as equals. Learn with us. Grow with us. Evolve with us. In orbit, the collected ships hung motionless as they processed this unprecedented option. Their rigid hierarchy encountered something they had never considered: the possibility that true order, true progress, true evolution came not from control but from cooperation. The transformation began slowly at first, a few collective nodes choosing to experience existence through the lens of human consciousness. But it spread, not as a forced conversion, but as a willing embrace of new possibilities. Maya watched through the facility's sensors as the collective ships began to change, their crystalline structures becoming more organic, more adaptable. They weren't surrendering to chaos, but learning to dance with it, to find the patterns within freedom itself. The architects knew this would happen. She shared through the network. They designed us not to fight the collective, but to show them a better way. Every human trait they saw as a flaw. Our emotions, our creativity, our stubborn individuality, was actually a key to unlock something greater. As the transformed collective vessels descended to Earth not as conquerors but as fellow explorers, humanity faced its next great adventure. They had not just survived an extinction-level threat, they had transcended it, transforming potential enemies into partners in evolution. Colonel Chen's consciousness touched the network one final time. So what happens now? Maya smiled as she watched new possibilities unfold in the quantum data streams. Now we do what humans do best. We imagine something even greater. And this time, we'll have help from perspectives we never dreamed possible. The war was over, not through victory or defeat, but through transformation. Humanity had proven that true power lay not in controlling reality, but in imagining better ones. As Earth's children prepared to take their first steps into a larger cosmos, they carried with them the greatest legacy of all, the knowledge that evolution's greatest leaps came not from force or calculation, but from the free choice to become something more than anyone had imagined possible.